yet again, so I can finally come on and unbox these packages. I was hoping to do this the other night, but then I totally lost my internet, and so that made it hard. Today I'm going to be unboxing two different packages. One from Dharma Trading Company that contains a lot of dyes and some non-yarn dyeable materials, so I'm excited to see what we've got in there. And then I also have my KnitPicks big sale order. I ordered this on Monday and it arrived on Wednesday, and I have never had a KnitPicks package arrive that fast. And I just used the free shipping. I didn't add anything to it. So I'm going to show you what I picked up. I will talk to you what I think I'm going to order today. Today's big sale special, and my affiliate link to the big sale is in this video description. But today's big sale deal is that there's a lot of like buy one, get one free stuff with the tools and other accessories. Like you can buy a keychain and get a pin, or buy a tote and get a matching mug. But if you spend $75 today, you can get a free yarn bowl while supplies last. And so I'm like, ooh, I want one of these pretty yarn bowls. I have a ceramic one, but a wooden one might be harder for the kids to break, so I could actually use it more right now. So yeah, let's see what I got, and then maybe you guys can give me some suggestions of what I might want to order. So I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, KnitPicks was channeling Prime subscription. I mean, I think that they know how many orders they're going to get right now, so they're just all hands on deck. My packing slip. Oh no. There might be something that wasn't here. There's something circled on my packing slip. Yeah, so this morning, the Dye Pot Weekly episode where I dyed yarn with Jello came out, and it's really cool. You guys have been asking me to dye yarn with Jello for a long time, and I was really hesitant to do it, but it was awesome. Yes, so so in addition to like today's special, KnitPicks has a lot of other yarns on sale right now. I think a lot are up to 60% off, and there's a lot of yarns also that just aren't on sale, but I was able to take advantage of the sale and get some good discounts on some yarns I hadn't bought before. All right. The little postcard hasn't changed from last time, so I'm not bothering to show it. Whoa. All right, so in addition to getting some stuff that was dyeable, I got some things for my own personal stash. I haven't tried the Gallery yarn yet. What's this fiber content? It's 100% wool. It's single ply, but check out these gradients. Isn't that cool? Wait, there's a new McCormick's food coloring? Ooh, you'll have to tell me more about that. But I was really excited when I saw these colors and that it was on sale. I would say this is not the softest of the wools that I've seen from KnitPicks. But it is like pretty, and I mean, it's not like scratchy or something, but if you need like a really, really soft wool, then this might not be the one for you. But yeah, and it says it's Aran weight, but it looks really thin. Like, yeah, I expect that this would, unless maybe it blooms when blocking. But that's okay. I like thinner yarns, so it's not a problem. But this is a super pretty, happy, kind of almost makes me think of Wicked or something. But very Rebecca colors. So the other thing that I got was some chroma fingering in this really like subtle kind of colorway. I really, really like chroma. McCormick's has a powder food coloring. All right, I'm gonna check that out as soon as I'm done here. I've used chroma worsted in a couple of projects before, but I just am really excited. Chroma is so soft, and it is a gradient yarn. So I think that there are some repeats in the colorway, but rather than being like a stripe, it's more of an ombre type gradient. But if you look at the fingering and then this Aran weight yarn, it's like the sizing doesn't look too different in places. So we'll see. All right, so those are the things that I got for myself. Oh yes, I love using gradients for shawls. The one shawl that I designed, I dyed some gradient yarn specifically for it. So that was a lot of fun. From ShopRite? Okay, I will check that out. All right, so, oh, this is soft. So the other thing that was really exciting with the big sale was that KnitPicks released a couple new yarn lines. So they released a lace weight version of Chroma. And so if those of you, I love knitting shawls. Like I love knitting lace and shawls. I haven't been able to do it for years because I have young kids and I just don't have the time to dedicate to a project. So I love some lace weight, and having like Chroma and lace weight will be awesome, you know, in a couple more years when they won't pull my needles out of projects. And I can do some beading again. But, so in addition to like a lace version of Chroma, they also released the Simply Wool and then some Simply Alpaca lines, which are undyed, so they're bare wools, bare yarns, but using the natural colors that exist in, you know, sheep and alpaca. So the colors range from like, you know, a pale tan, pale gray, and then they go all the way into like a darker brown, almost black. And so I got 2 of the gray in Winkle because I thought that I would over dye this. And like back in the day when they had full circle, I think that some of those were natural colors as well, the full circle roving. And I really liked over dyeing one of those. And so, but they even have darker charcoal grays, and over dyeing a charcoal, you can get, you don't always see a lot of color, but you can get some really cool stuff. So I think I'm really excited about this and exploring this more in the future. Unfortunately, since the new yarn line launch, it wasn't on sale this week, but I couldn't resist. All right, what else did I get? Oh, yeah, I got some bare Chroma worsted. So this is a single ply yarn. And I have some ideas for something that I want to do with a single ply yarn that I didn't want to have to spin the base for myself. So I thought that Chroma would be a good candidate for that. I'll tell you a little more about that plan once I get into the Dharma box. All right, I got some Felici worsted. I haven't ever tried their sock yarns, but the worsted weight bare yarn was on sale, so I decided to get it so that way I could at least feel the fiber and kind of compare I mean, it won't be a direct comparison to the Stroll line, but I've never felt it. So the fiber content is exactly the same as Stroll. So I'm not sure what is different. Maybe there's like a different number of plies or something. I'll need to take a closer look to see what the difference is between those sock lines. But I have some to play with. Ooh. Wait, so I wonder why they circled, and maybe they were just like making a note as they were packaging my yarn. Yeah, so I have all these yarns and all these different lines, and I don't have a ton specifically planned for them, but I know that I still have a bunch of sponsored videos to film, and so those will be featuring a lot of the wool of the Andes worsted and a lot of the Stroll fingering. But then I kind of want to, some of these I want to see like, do these different fiber blends take up dye slightly differently? And then just general like, hey, let's dye this yarn and see what we can get. Okay, so I've got some Paragon, which is, yeah, okay, this one I'm really excited about. This is 50% merino, 25% alpaca, and 25% silk. And so you can actually like see a bit of a sheen to it. But someone messaged me on Facebook and she dyed in the same pot, I think 100% wool and then a silk blend, and the colors, I don't remember if she's doing blacks, but the colors were strikingly different. So I've dyed 100% silk, but not silk blends, and not trying it with any of my breaking experiments. So I am curious, because if you're dyeing two things at the same time, if one of them absorbs one of the colors faster than the other, that could account for a difference too. But yeah, I am excited to play with this. But look at the drape. This has a great drape to it, which you can see just from the hanks. Aha. All right, so while I'm trying to expand my collection of different fibers, I got some Aloft, which is 72% kid mohair, 28% silk. And so this is, just something else that it should dye with food coloring wonderfully. It just might, who knows if it's a little different. And since I haven't dyed, any mohair with this halo before, then maybe we can see like, okay, this is something like, I ended up with a felted mess because I did something wrong or something. So I thought that would be fun. Aha. All right, so similarly, I got 2 skeins of bear hair yarn, which is 80% wool, 20% Angora. I kind of would love to get an Angora rabbit someday, but my husband's allergic to guinea pigs, and so he might also then be allergic to rabbits. But a dream is to have like my own pet that is also a fiber source. I have a really fluffy dog, and I save and wash some of his fur, but the staple length is really short, and so I'm not quite skilled enough to spin it yet. But someday I will make like a little toy dog out of his fur. I thought that would be kind of fun and cute. Okay, so the normal wool of the Andes roving wasn't on sale, but this color was. So I've overdyed roving that I had dyed before, but I haven't overdyed a roving that has been commercially dyed. So I thought that this would be fun. I have a lot of things in the stash now that I'm planning to overdye. I had one of the past unboxing videos, I showed like a highlighter yellow and some darker grays, because sometimes you might see a really nice fiber on sale, but you don't like the color. And so I know a lot of people reach out and like search for my videos because they have yarn, they don't like the color, and they want to change it. So I want to show how to change it. Right. And the last thing I got is something that is on sale and that I haven't used before, but it is the Bear Stroll roving. And I actually just dyed some of this this week. It is drying and getting ready to spin. So we'll see how I like spinning it, but I didn't want to pass up this sale, so I got a little bit to add to my stash. I think that next year I might not need to buy much bear yarn because I'm, upping the stash, but also, for tax reasons, it makes sense to have some purchases this year because of the Kickstarter and stuff. So anyway, I'm very, very excited. I have thought about, and I might have to add something to my cart today that is, I'd love to get something like this to overdye. And so that is something that I'll see if there's something that fits well. Right, so I don't think he would have issues with the Angora fiber. I think that it would be it's more from like the saliva of the animal. He gets hives from playing with guinea pigs, which I grew up with guinea pigs, so that made me sad. Otherwise we probably would have one. Yes, I think that I definitely will need to blend the dog fur with yarn. And actually, I have some chinchilla rabbit fiber, or chinchilla something. I have some kind of chinchilla fiber that also needs to be blended with something. I have a pair of hand carders, but when I tried that, I maybe carded myself more than the fiber. And so I need to watch some videos to learn how to do it better. But yes, I will, blending is something that is on my list to learn. Yeah, all right. But this is all the stuff that I got from my KnitPicks big sale. And I will say that my total for all this yarn, which is how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 17 things, and I got this for $91.16 with the free shipping. So it's not bad. All right. Oh, that's not what this is to open now. Oh gosh, this is heavy. Okay, this is my Dharma company order, and they sell, for those of you who may not know, they sell a lot of different dyes. And so, I mean, I think KnitPicks does sell some jacquard dyes as well, but Dharma just had like a huge selection. Whew, all right. Got my packing slip is really long. Oh, is that all I spent? Huh, not as much as I thought, unless maybe I'm getting another package. Okay, so it looks like, all right, so here, this is the beginning of my acid dyes, you guys. Oh, yes, shop therapy. Oh yeah, and thank you guys so much for those of you that back the Kickstarter or have been supporting this channel. You guys have made this shopping and therefore vicarious retail therapy for you guys possible. I am really excited to film a lot of exciting videos well, there's still some more coming out this year, but also in 2018. I think that we're gonna have a lot of fun. Okay, so the first thing to come out are some Dharma brand acid dyes. And I got 3 colors that I've been told break really well. And so I am really excited to explore breaking other colors that break and look beyond just food colorings. So I got sage leaf, purple pop, and avocado. And so these are cheaper than the jacquard acid dyes, because for about the same price you get 2 ounces versus half an ounce. But I got, for most of my primaries and stuff, I got the jacquard acid dyes because I really want it, because this is something that a lot of people use and are curious about. And so that's why I went with this. And I'm not going to open the plastic bag because I don't want to make a mess. All right, but let's see what, so you don't have a credit, so you can, I think you could pay for KnitPicks with PayPal. Not that I'm trying to push it that hard or anything. I mean, I am an affiliate, but yeah, obviously no pressure. You can get your bare yarns a lot of different places. I found KnitPicks because I was looking for 100% wool yarn, and you know, I liked that I could buy 50-gram balls, and then all of a sudden and then when I started dyeing yarn, I was like, oh, I can buy bare skeins 1 at a time versus committing to 10 at a time. So it makes it accessible. All right, let's see what color acid dyes I got. So in the jacquard acid dyes, I got fire red, turquoise, violet, brown, silver, sky blue, pink, sun yellow, and jet black. Oh, did I say lilac? I got a couple different purples. I like purple, and I have no idea if the jacquard purples break, or if the black breaks, but it's something that we will say. Oh. Can you add water to yarn when microwaving if you find it's drying out after the first 2 minutes? Sure. It might like move some of the colors around, but there's no reason why you couldn't add some water to it. This is why I tend to wrap it up in the plastic wrap to kind of help things stay nice and damp. But I personally haven't experienced any issues with the yarn drying out. Yeah, well, see, this is why, you know, I now have viewer sponsors and stuff to help me get these materials, so that way, you know, I can more guilt-free branch out into these other materials to then show you guys a nice big variety of dyeing techniques. I think when I start doing the acid dyes, since it makes sense to make stock solutions, I might do one video where I make a lot of my stock solutions, so that way in the dyeing videos I can focus on using it and techniques. But I haven't made a schedule. I was waiting for it to arrive before I made myself a little schedule. But I have a bunch of like glass jars that I plan to use. All right, so this, okay. This is a pH neutral soap that a lot of dyers use and like. I think that it can help remove excess dye that's in suspension. And so sometimes when I'm having issues with, I've got some videos coming up that I swear are half washing to get the excess dye out. So this kind of soap will hopefully help with stuff like that. I also got, so this Cresto cream is like a hand cream slash soap thing that will help remove dye from your hands. And it's not something that, you know, everyone needs to dye at home, but there are times when I forget to wear gloves, and then it would be nice for me to be able to get the dye out of my hands. So I wanted to try that out. Oh, I got some urea because I think that with acid dyes it can help with getting the colors to dissolve. I got some citric acid. It's cheaper I got some food grade citric acid that I use for making like fizzy bath balls. But I wanted to buy some from even though that would work totally fine, I decided to just buy some from the dye supplier to show. Okay, this is how much 1 pound, yeah, this is how much 1 pound looks like and stuff. Yay, first order of bear yarn, yay, it'll be so much fun. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, there's some packing peanuts in here. All right, now comes the extra fun stuff. Okay, I've got my masks. So even like theoretically, when you're using Kool-Aid and a lot of Kool-Aid packets, it might be beneficial to wear just like a mask, a dust mask, because you don't want to inhale any of the particles. Inhaling anything can be bad, but some things could be, even though they might be otherwise pretty safe to use, could just be irritating to your lungs if you were to inhale it. So I have some of those. I got 2 of these. Let's see how this cap comes off. Aha! Oh no! If that doesn't screw onto the bottle. Okay, yes it does. So these are sponge tip applicators. And I know that people are mixed on the Lucas dyeing videos, but maybe my 1-year-old with this might be able to join. And if I did like Wilton's violet in one, Wilton's black in the other, and let him like dab, 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 I thought that would be fun. Do you need a separate pot for RIT dye? Yes. Yes, I would not recommend using anything other than food coloring based dyes, or like, I mean, I think that if you're going to be using like vinegar and red cabbage or something, I wouldn't use any non-food grade chemicals in a pot that you also use for cooking. But yeah, so I have 2 of these sponge applicators, and at least, well, if I decide it's too risky with Ryder, then Lucas could use it. Aha, so these are, I won't open it because I'm curious how they feel. Okay, so this is like a hand mitten kind of thing. Oh, okay, it's like, that's pretty comfortable. I was planning to dye it for my mom for an upcoming vacation that we have. So, yay, I'm glad that should fit fine. Aha! Is this what I think it is? Yes. I got some 100% silk thread in a natural color. So before I said what I was going to do something with the Chroma single ply yarn that is something that maybe I could do with hand spun, but I didn't want to try with my own hand spun first. So I think that I want to try plying this single ply yarn with the silk thread and then dyeing it. So, I mean, it's possible that they take up the color differently so then it'll stand out and look cool. Or maybe they'll take up dye similarly, but we'll still get a cool kind of yarn. So that's something that I want to try. All right, so here I got some little silk scarves. These are 100% silk scarves, and they were pretty inexpensive. But my reason for buying some of these silk scarves is that I want to do some of the food coloring tests on the silk fabric before I do it on the more expensive luminescence yarn. So that way I can play around with the temperature. I mean, I'm a little nervous. I know that, so I've dyed silk hankies in the oven and they came out fine, were luminescent and were great. So I'm not like concerned, it's just an expensive yarn. So I want to play around with how food colorings absorb to silk. And so I got something, like I got these scarves to play with. Yes, I go to the dollar store for a lot of things I use for dyeing. I get dish pans that I use to soak the yarns and then wash them. That's where I got, yeah. IKEA has some really cheap pots, and actually there's a local thrift store that has a lot of nice pots. So the other things I got a number of these drawstring bags. These are cotton, but I had some like other like fabric dyeing techniques that I wanted to play around with, and I thought that it would be fun to make something that I could then use as like a knitting project bag. So I also got two of these drawstring backpacks. I thought that I could also kind of like customize them and use them for an upcoming family vacation. I thought that that would be fun. Oh, this is their foldable shopping tote. Since I didn't buy any of the fiber reactive dyes this time. The fiber reactive dyes I've been using have basically been tulip tie-dye kits. But I wanted to get some things that weren't t-shirts to dye, just because to like have some variety. I'm also, when I set up the indigo kit, that can dye a lot of fiber, so I want to have things on hand that I want to dye. One of the last things I have, and so this I should be dyeing soon, is just a little purse. I wanted something that was small that I could put my phone in, and I plan to dye it and decorate in many, many different ways. Your dollar store wanted $50 for a medium pot? Whoa. Yeah. So I got my dye pot at a Bed Bath & Beyond with I used one of the like 20% off coupons. I think the new pot has not made an appearance on the channel yet. I have used it in a couple videos, and those should be, I think those are coming out this year. I already have some things that are starting to be scheduled for January, so I don't quite remember the timeline. But yeah, this is what I got from Dharma. I decided, because I do really want to try fiber reactive dyes, but I realized also that I didn't want to go too big too soon. I still have some tie-dye left from the last kit I bought, and that is a fiber reactive dye as well. And so I just want to see, how much do I like using the acid dyes versus food coloring. I mean, the convenience of food coloring is just huge, but apparently the colors can be so vibrant and rich. And, a black and gray, those are things that are really, really hard to do with food coloring. And it's like anytime I've actually gotten a gray, it's almost been an accident. So yeah, and I still plan, even though I have this for when, I think I'm mainly going to bring it out when it turns out I'm having to do a ton of rinsing, but I plan to use just a soap that is something that I can get more locally and easily, to that way try to make the techniques that I do as accessible as possible. But the main reason why I want to try acid dyes is that I know a lot of the techniques and the things I do with food coloring translate to acid dyes. However, I get a lot of questions about acid dyes and I can't answer them because I haven't tried them yet. So food coloring stuff will not go away. I have tons of ideas up my sleeves, but yeah, I like being able to try new things, and I cannot wait for you guys to kind of transition with me. I'm just checking to see if there were any questions. So I have a there's like a couple dollar stores that aren't actually everything $1. I have a Dollar Tree really close by that everything in there is $1. And so sometimes I can get some like Kool-Aid squeeze bottles, and I got some of the like spoons and stuff that I will use with non-food safe dyes I got there. I got some plates and stuff that could be microwaved. All right, now bonus, I've picked some stuff up at my local craft store. One of the big box retailers. I got some yarns that some of these are already going to be featured in a video that's already in the queue. Some of them, I mean, they're bare still or pale colored, so I haven't dyed with them yet. But the goal of these is to show you that, like, even if you can't make a KnitPicks order or order 100% bare yarns online somewhere, because that's just not easily accessible necessarily, you can run to your craft store and get some things that you can dye. And you can, so that way if you just really want to try it right now, these are things that you can dye even with food coloring. So I have some cotton from KnitPicks as well, but I also have just some sugar and cream cotton. This has been bleached because it's white, and pure cotton is not this white, but it should take up color nicely. I dyed some of this with a tie-dye, I dyed some of this with the RIT dyes, and that is coming up in one of the videos sometime soon, I believe. In the past, I dyed one of the KnitPicks organic cottons with a tulip tie-dye kit, and the cotton yarn took up dye beautifully. So a lot of that yarn actually went out to Kickstarter backers as mini skeins. So if you want to try dyeing and you can't deal with wool, this is a cotton that you can find, at many local retailers. And then you can also at those stores find various tie-dye kits. The Tulip brand is one that I just keep buying because I've used it once and I liked it. But there's other brands that you can use. Just pay attention to whether or not they say if it's a one-step kit or if you need to buy soda ash for a pre-soak. But yeah, this one I've already wound up. So what else do I have? I have some Lion brand Woolies Thick and Quick that I wound up. I started dyeing yarn with Lion brand Woolies, and this is a 20% wool, 80% acrylic yarn. So the colors are more pastel and end up looking a little more heathered. But if you ramp up the volume of your food coloring, you can also ramp up the volume of this. It's just the colors will definitely be more muted than if you were using 100% wool. And yeah, I mean, I started dyeing because I had like 8 balls of the worsted weight Woolies yarn, and they were this color, and I didn't want them to be this color anymore because I was done with the project that I had needed it. So that started, I guess, this chain reaction that brought us here today. The patent Shetland chunky yarn is 25% wool, 75% acrylic. And this is one I've used in a couple videos that are coming up. Yeah, I want to get an old crock pot, or, you know, maybe get a new crock pot and then transfer my old one into a dying pot. But that is, yeah, that is something that will happen in the future. Okay, so this is a Patton's yarn. And, you know, I think I got these at, some of them I got at Joann Fabrics, some I got at AC Moore. I know that Michaels has some of these, but a lot of times, sometimes you can find 100% wool at the big box stores. I know Lion Brand has a fisherman's line that they have some really cool twists and solids, like they're shades of brown and cream, and that's 100% wool. But otherwise I've had trouble finding a lot of wool content in the stores. And then the last one that I got is this Bernat roving yarn. And this one is 20% acrylic, 20% wool, 80% acrylic. So I think that I've got one video on the channel right now featuring the 80%, featuring the wool blend. I dyed like a brownish orange color, just a solid, but just to show that the yarn took up color. I have an Afghan that I made with all these Lion Brand yarns. It's the 10-hour Afghan. The pattern is on chemknits.com. And, you know, the yarns that I dyed with food coloring are in that. It's been out in my living room for years now. It was at least 6, if not 7 or 8 years ago that I made that. And, you know, the commercial colors are brighter because some of them were brighter to begin with, but you can definitely still see a lot of color from the ones that I dyed. So, yeah. Do you guys have any questions or anything? I think that that's all my stuff. I mean, these I got a little while ago, but I hadn't shown you, and so I'm like, ooh, let's show you the stuff that I have. And you guys know that I always welcome suggestions of what to do, so you can always leave a comment on any of my videos and with a suggestion of something you'd like to see, and I have a list where I write things down, and yeah, it might make it into the queue. But I've been having so much fun producing videos regularly. I need to make a solid purple. All right, so how to make a purple not break. And this is something that I plan to do soon. So on my blog from ages ago, I dyed mini skeins of purple and the colors came out really, really sight. Yes, you did. I saw that. And so for solid purple, my recommendations would be use a big pot, a lot of water. If you're going to use food coloring, add the food coloring and the wool. You know, start with a low amount of acid. So if I was using a big pot and I was going to do 12 cups of water, maybe I would only do 1 or 2 tablespoons of vinegar to start with. Add the dye, mix it up, still cold, add the yarn, move it around so it has space, and then slowly bring up the heat, kind of stirring every once in a while. Because the more, like if you give all the colors access to the yarn, like the more, and pre-soak the yarn to start with, because the more water you have, the more easily the dyes can access all of the fiber, and so you'll get a more even color. Julia, did I reply? Oh yes, that was the Synthren poll was from Dharma Trading Company. Sorry, I missed that. I know that I think I replied to one of your comments on one of the other videos today as well. So I thought that you were referring to that. So sorry that I just missed that one. When dyeing yarn with Jello, do I use sugar-free Jello? I did not use sugar-free Jello this time. I had used just sugared Jello in the video that came out this morning. And you can tell in the video that I was nervous I was going to get a mess. But I guess that between the volume being small enough, the volume of water being big enough compared to the number of packets of Kool-Aid, or not Kool-Aid, Jell-O, it worked fine. Unfortunately, if you want a more vibrant color, I mean, you've seen me use as many as 10 packets of Kool-Aid on one skein of yarn, and sometimes maybe even more than that. I would not be able to use 10 packets of Jell-O on one skein of yarn, just because with that much gelatin and stuff, you'd be more likely to end up with Jell-O. And I don't think anyone really wants Jell-O yarn unless you're doing a prank or it's Halloween maybe and you want to make like a feeling type thing. So there could be situations where you'd want that. How does my your burning question, how does my family feel about my stash? Yes. So, well, my kids think it's awesome. Lucas is like, yarn, and he thinks I dyed all of the yarn in the house, which is hilarious, but I don't think he actually really knows how big my stash is. My husband Keith is really, really supportive of this. I'm not a big driver, so I don't drive. I'll do like short trips, not big ones, but he'll drive me to fiber fairs. And yeah, I mean, I think he gets a kick out of, he doesn't necessarily relate. He did actually knit a square once for a charity craftathon. I don't think he would be able to do it. I'd have to reteach him, but he did. I cast on and bound off, but he did knit a square. And so that was really awesome. But yeah, he's supportive. I mean, when I have boxes, like I've done a lot of unboxing lately because I've bought a lot lately. So if I leave it around the house and it's in the way, you know, I should be better at putting it away. But that's totally reasonable. Otherwise, like I have a little, I have like a little space for it to go, but I have yarn in my like little office. I've got yarn in our coffee table trunk. I've got yarn in boxes in the front hall. So it is just everywhere right now. Unfortunately, I can't understand those comments, those questions, because those aren't in English. But yeah, so he's supportive, and my stash actually got a lot small. Well, I guess I've kind of replaced it, but I just shipped out 70 packages of yarn. And I've got some more that I'll be sending out. So some of the stash, this is one of the reasons why I did the Kickstarter, because my hand-dyed stash was getting so big that, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be able to knit with all of it. I did keep some things for myself so that I can knit with them. Actually, I'm knitting with one right now. So this is one of the yarns that Lucas did. It was done with Easter egg tablets. And I think it's the one where I added like a ton more vinegar. And I'm knitting it 2 strands at a time to make a hat for my youngest. And so it's gonna be like a nice thick warm hat, which will be useful for New England. But yeah, so that helps with the stash. All right, so would you be able to dye a rainbow or gradient with RIT dye? I imagine that you would be able to do a rainbow if you bought a rainbow of colors. So far I've done hand painting, I've done some space dyeing, and so I've done some space dyeing and I've done some kettle dyeing with some of the RIT dyes. And so what I don't know is if I were to dip dye into the RIT dye, like how long it actually needs to be in there. And so if you could get a gradient from dip dyeing, certainly you could probably get a gradient from doing some different dilutions of the dye and hand painting. And that's something that I plan to do with food coloring soon, to show just like another way to get a nice gradient. Yes. Yeah, no, those comments were in Russian, so that's why I couldn't respond to those. Yeah, no worries. Yes, today what I was doing was that I was unboxing some of the yarns that I got from the KnitPicks big sale. Today I think is the last like daily special that's coming out, and so if there's any left, then maybe I'll place another order today so I can get a free yarn bowl. But yeah, a lot of yarns are on sale. So if there's something that you've been wanting to try for a long time, then now's a really good time to go and buy some yarn. And I think the link that I put in the video description, right, well, depending on where you're watching, so it's like right there. That link will take you straight to the big sale page where you can see like the different things that they have on sale right now. You don't need to click on my link to do it. You can go directly to their website as well. So no pressure. Yeah, the Ritz site had some good tips. So far, I've only tried the so far I've only tried the liquid Rit dyes because I figured since I'm trying to keep things to be as accessible as possible, I started with the Rit dyes because you can find them in a store, and I started with the liquid because I'm like, you don't even have to mix up the powders and deal with making a stock solution. Yes, happy shopping. Yeah, you guys should tell me what you got, and I love seeing your dyeing adventures. Continue to post pictures on the ChemKnits Facebook page. I like seeing what you guys create, and it's really fun, and sometimes your own dyeing experiments give me really good ideas of things that I should try and film. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah, if I missed, I have comments on the phone go by really quickly, so I try to keep track over here. No, I'm not, my family isn't giving me a hard time about these current purchases. In part, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. My family's never given me a hard time about the number of purchases I've done. Yes, you can post on my Twitter feed too. That always works. I don't check it as often, but usually I will see a notification if if I get a mention, or I don't really know the Twitter terms. Yes, I'm glad you opened a translator. Sorry, I can't translate for myself on the fly. My partner's never complained about the amount of yarn I've purchased, just if I make it hard to walk through a particular part of the house, which I think is fair. Totally fair. And I have a lot of cleaning and organizing, and I need to come up with I've been meaning on Ravelry to like actually stash my yarns on my account. No, sorry. No, his brother is taken and by someone else who knits. So we have fun. You want to come live with me? I mean, my house is pretty chaotic because I've got 2 young kids, but yeah, I mean, I'm lucky, and so my husband intended to be the first backer of the Kickstarter, but when I announced it, some of you guys got on there faster than he could. So I forget what number he was, but yeah, I've been blown away by all the support you guys have shown me this year. And, you know, I get a kick out of coming on. I get a kick of coming on and showing you guys the yarns and stuff that I buy, and because it's just a nice, easy time that I can interact with you and answer some questions and stuff. I haven't done any spinning or dyeing live in a little while, but hopefully after Thanksgiving I can. Right now there's no snow. It's cold though. It's like in Fahrenheit in the low 40s. Yeah, I hope to do some other live dyeing, because that is also, I have so much fun interacting with you guys. Yeah, when yeah, so I hope to do some more live dyeing and spinning coming up. I did a little poll on Facebook and you guys asked me to do some more live dyeing, and so I have some ideas. And actually, I think in December I'm going to start the sock blank special that was one of the stretch rewards from the Kickstarter. And so I'm planning it out, but I think I should do I'll have a mixture of like pre-recorded videos and then also some live streams when I'm hand painting the sock blanks. Another Kickstarter came in. Hey, that might be fun. Or I might also look into Patreon, which is something that I need to learn more about. But, you know, and I think that also there might be some, as my stash of hand-dyed yarns accumulates, I imagine that I will need to do some kind of de-stash sale in some kind of way in the future. I don't know what kind of shape that will take, and yeah, so I'm not sure, but I'm not going to be setting up any other kind of fundraising until I have fulfilled the rewards for all of the Kickstarter backers, just because I want to be fair about that. And oh, thank you, Barbara. Yeah, it's kind of this all started off as a hobby, although after a couple years, after 2 years of hobby income, then it kind of becomes like you have to declare it as business income. And so now that my youngest is like almost 2, I have more time to do stuff again. So the Kickstarter was also, it was a way to help fund some of the supplies for this, but also honestly a way to give me some accountability to produce content for you guys on a regular basis. And I have to say, it's so fun. I am just having a blast filming these videos and playing with these colors. And someone once asked me if I love every yarn I've ever dyed. And I have to think that, you know, certainly there's yarns that I love more than others. And there's times when a technique doesn't work the way that I thought it was, so I get a little disappointed. However, my disappointment is that I didn't get what I was expected, not that the yarn wasn't beautiful. And I think that the one time that I would consider a yarn not beautiful would be if I ended up with a felted mess or something that was unusable. Because even when something isn't my favorite color or a color I don't wear, someone else really likes it. Oh, thank you. I really, I've enjoyed teaching and tutoring and stuff my whole life, and I had no idea when I was in grad school earning my PhD that I would go in this direction and, you know, towards becoming a fiber artist. And it's fun, it's a journey, and, you know, I started the blog to keep a lab notebook for myself. I wanted to keep track of the projects that I did and to understand, so that way I could try to replicate things. And then, you know, I started filming. And because some friends would ask for help with the techniques, so I was like, well, I may as well film this. And people started watching and reading. And I'm just, you know, it's November, you know, Thanksgiving coming up, and I'm just so thankful for all of the support that you guys have shown, and that you guys like to watch me, and that you guys want me to succeed. That means the world to me. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions of what if there's anything else I should buy. I mean, I think I now have maybe at least one of most of the bare yarns KnitPicks has between this sale and the sale the other week. I have a lot of the KnitPicks bare yarns now. My blog is, my website is www.chemknits.com. So CHEMKNITS. And I haven't been posting as much, and so on the blog you'll see a lot of non-fiber-based crafts and stuff that I've been doing, because I've done a lot of stuff to make for like videos for birthday parties for my kids, and just it's it's kind of it's my lab notebook of the things that I've done and things I've tried and what works and what doesn't and what I would do differently next time. And sometimes some behind the scenes stuff from different videos. But I have a lot of things there that I need to write up. And so, yay. It would be great to see me dye some handspun yarn and follow it through to a finished project. I do definitely have many of those, not so much in video form, but there are some of those journeys on the blog, and so maybe I should just pull pictures and take you through some of those journeys. I've done a lot of stuff like that for my kids, and some of them I have included some spinning videos as well. So if I've knit something from a video, before it's launched, I try to include a picture of that at the end of the video. But it's not always possible because sometimes I'm just slow knitting with stuff. Just like, this video came out a while ago, and now hopefully, in theory I should be able to finish this quickly, but with the holidays we've had some other stuff going on. And I was using a pattern that's on my site already, but it's, I guess, enough modifications that I might just release this as a new simple hat pattern. People tend to like those. And I actually am doing this one in 2 sizes because I've got 2 kids. I've made Lucas's already. I just need to finish Ryder's. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me today. And, if you want to get some cool bear yarn or other yarns cheap, check out the KnitPicks sale. Have I ever tried to dye solid violet with Wilton's violet? I have. With Wilton's, I believe I did with Wilton's. It was a mini skein and the first purples I ever dyed. Those, not in a video. I haven't done it on a video though. So I do plan to do that on the video soon. Oh, no worries. No worries for not paying enough attention to the website. It's fine. I've been putting some more eggs in the YouTube basket these last couple months. But yes, one of the next projects, 2 of the projects that, and I don't know if there are ones that, they might be ones that I do live. 2 of the projects coming up, at least for me to do and film, even though it might be a while before they're released, are doing a hand painting a gradient of one color. So doing some serial dilutions and showing you guys about how I'll do that. And then the other one is doing a solid purple, because I know that that's a question I get a lot and I want to show you guys how I do it. Well, I should say a solid purple from food coloring. I've done a different solid purple. So I don't always, I've had some yarns have knots with KnitPicks. I haven't noticed a ton. I once had chroma, and that was like I once had a chroma worsted that had a knot in it, and that was really disappointing because it like switched the direction of the gradient. But once I had an issue, it wasn't knots, but I had an issue with a ball of yarn, and they actually sent me a brand new one. So I know that their customer service is really good. They've replaced needles of mine that have snapped, and some other things. So yeah, I've been pretty happy. I think, what was I using? I was doing something recently and there were some knots and I got angry. Maybe it was maybe it was in like one of these yarns that I got, that there were a number of knots, and they were like, there's a knot and then a foot and then another knot. And I was like, why? Why like not just remove that and have one knot? So yeah, but so I haven't compared, oh, my battery's about to die, but I haven't compared pattern worsted to KnitPicks with that. I know that I rarely get knots. So anyway, but thank you guys so much for watching. I There will be another new video coming in on Tuesday, and if you haven't watched the new episode of Dye Pot Weekly that came out today, I dyed yarn with Jello, and it's really fun. And also, yeah, before the KnitPicks sale goes until Monday at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. I think Monday is the 20th. Yeah, it ends November 20th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So don't miss out on buying yarn. My affiliate link is in the description. Oh wait, the description's down there. Yeah, thanks for joining me and hanging out. Have a wonderful day, guys.